Yay! Hey, shush. Sorry, my pups are in here. I'm Liz. That is Cosmo. And Einstein will be probably in and out as well. Today, I am going to talk about one of the things that I am super passionate about. If you know me and the work that I do one-on-one with people, it is very much geared around forgiveness. I believe that forgiveness is the first step before even doing gratitude. I love how popular gratitude is getting and how that is a piece of people's morning routine, and I think that that is fantastic. And I want to offer up another thing to add to that with forgiveness. The way that I do my individual sessions, I use muscle testing to help figure out exactly what the key piece is, but what I'm going to teach you today is how you can do this all on your own. Sometimes you might not get to the root cause as easily, but eventually you will, and this will help bring up just so many things. I'm going to do an extended, simplified, and I'll explain what that means, version of Ho'oponopono. I know, really long, crazy word. I'll write it in the comments after. Ho'oponopono. It's crazy. This is an old Hawaiian technique, and the reason that I say I'm simplifying and expanding it is I'm simplifying the true Ho'oponopono practice. That is very in-depth. There are even videos, or there's even stories about this doctor, I think it was Dr. Lee, L-E-Y, I don't know exactly how to say it, Dr. Lee, who did work on patients that were inpatient in a facility, and he never met with them. He only looked at their files. But by doing that, he ended up helping these patients get better just by him doing their work, because it's that theory that we are mirrors for everything. And so he went through all of this healing work himself, and it helped others. That's a snippet into what this extended version is. But the simplified version I'll be giving you for Ho'oponopono is just the steps you do, but then the expanded piece is my passion of forgiveness. So I will be diving in a little bit more to the forgiveness piece. So, Ho'oponopono is a practice of, first what you would do is you would write out or think about something that you need to forgive, something that is holding you back, a limiting belief. Just anything that you know doesn't serve you anymore. You can do this in a very general realm, or you can do this all about something specific. I'll be giving an example today because I got a comment on the post about debt. So the example that I will be using today will actually be for debt. Hey Kylie! So the example I'll be doing is for debt, but I will go over how you do this on your own. If you are watching the replay, then I would say pause this and go ahead and write out a list of some of your fears, some of the things that you know are limiting beliefs, things that you know you need to forgive. This can be a very broad spectrum of, I have a fear that I'll always be in debt. Or it can be a very specific fear of, I have a fear that I will never be able to pay this off, or I have a fear that I won't be able to send my kids to college, or whatever the specific thing is. I recommend, hey Mary, I recommend doing the really wide range as well as the really specific. You can do this with the first things that come to your mind and make a list. You can also do this under a certain category and then go really in depth. So if there is something that you're really trying to get a transformation of like attracting in the ideal mate, or attracting in the ideal career or ideal client, or some specific idea, or attracting in financial abundance, whatever it is, go through and make a list of everything related to that is limiting, that brings up fear, or that you just know you need to forgive. These can be current things or past. Then what you're going to do, the basics of Ho'oponopono is I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, and I love you. You can do them in different orders. Occasionally I'll notice that, oh wow, I went to, I love you first, because for me in that, whatever that situation is, I had to send love to it before I was able to forgive it, because it was a really tender thing or something like that. So what this means, and this is the expanded part for the I forgive you, so I'll start with that one. I forgive you. Oh my gosh, guys, forgiveness is not for ourselves. Forgiveness, if we think that we need to forgive someone else, it's not because they need to be forgiven. It's because it's holding us prisoner. It's like unlocking, thinking that by forgiving someone, you are letting them out of a cell when it turns out that you are the one locked in there. Forgiveness is for ourselves. You can never forgive too much. That doesn't mean that you're going to forget it and that you would put yourself in a dangerous situation with someone again or something. But by forgiving, sets us free. Hey, Erica. So the first step is forgiveness. And this is the expanded part. I forgive myself. So looking at the 3 aspects that you break this down into. So with I forgive myself, or for I forgive you, it can be I forgive myself, I forgive others, and I give others permission to forgive me. So that's the first full piece of Ho'oponopono is I forgive you. And when I walk through the example later of the debt, this will make more sense. So this is forgiving yourself for any role that you played, forgiving others for anything specific that they did, and giving others permission to forgive you. So there are likely times in your life that you have done something unknowingly that hurt someone. So you are calling in any of that energy to this that you may or may not be aware of, so that it calls in all of that to forgive within this certain situation or certain energy of a theme. So that's the I forgive you. Then it's on to I'm sorry. So this is I'm sorry that it happened. I'm sorry for my part. I'm sorry for others' pain. When you go through these, it's important that you don't just go through and logically think through it of, okay, I forgive blah, blah, blah. I forgive blah, blah, blah. I forgive blah, blah, blah. Got it. Done. This is really feeling it. So when you move on to the sorry part, this can call up a lot of grief, because the point is that you really feel the remorse, whether it's your remorse or whether it's someone else's. Allow yourself to feel whatever naturally comes up. This is a spiritual practice for me. So I believe that what I'm doing when I do this is not only apologizing for my piece, but looking at the world as a mirror, because we are all one humanity. And anything that I have that is in my world, I have in some way created. So by saying I'm sorry, it's not just for what I've done. It's almost like it's repenting or apologizing as if I were whoever it was that wronged me on this list of things that I'm going through. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Thank you. So then the thank you. Thank you for the lessons this taught me. A lot of times during the I forgive you and I'm sorry piece, I will break down. I will break down, and then the thank you piece is really having gratitude for thank you for the things that this has taught me. Thank you for the ability to release this. Thank you, and go through really specifically whether you're writing it, whether you're feeling it. Be sure if you are writing it down that you're not staying in your head, that you're taking deep breaths throughout the process, and that you're letting yourself really feel all of it. And then the last step is I love you. So this is sending love and light to anyone involved, yourself, others, and to the situation. And this involves to any circumstances that were going on at the time. I love you to the fears. So if you're working on just a specific fear, not a specific event, then this is thanking the fear for being there, because it kept you safe in some way. And this is sending love and light to that fear for however that fear helped your life. So we will go through an example of it. So the example of fear that debt will never be paid off. That was one of the examples on the post that I posted. So if you are doing this at home, think of, we can all probably connect in some way to some type of debt. Something. So the first step is I forgive you. So forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and giving others permission to forgive you. So a piece of this would be, I forgive myself for believing that my debt will never be paid off. If you've done any of the EPT, emotional polarity technique work with me, I use forgiveness a lot, so these statements will make sense to you. These are like second nature. I forgive myself, some of the kind of standards that you can use in any forgiveness work. I forgive myself for believing this is too hard. I forgive myself for believing I will always be stuck. It helps to have your hand on your chest or even to rub underneath the collarbone in some spots right there. And taking deep breaths after every statement. Being sure that this is a full body somatic experience and that you're not just staying in your head with this. You can think through things all day long, but it needs to be through your entire body. So with the example of debt never paying off, I forgive myself for racking up this debt. I forgive my education for creating so much debt. I forgive someone else for creating this debt in my life. If you married into debt or if someone else created this debt in your life, that's huge. If there's some type of medical debt, I forgive my injury for creating this debt. I forgive my child's sickness for creating this debt. I forgive my husband for what he did that created this debt. I forgive the dog for stepping on something and cutting his paw and creating this debt. Whatever it is, call up any of that, and it might seem silly and it's like, oh, I don't need to forgive that. Go through anything that could go around that. Forgiving yourself for limiting beliefs, forgiving others, and giving others permission to forgive you. So calling in any little granule of forgiveness that could be needed for someone else or for you from someone else. So I give others permission to forgive me anytime that I create a debt that negatively affected their life. So you might not even know, but call in any other energies that are going on in that situation. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry for my part. I'm sorry for others' pain. Think about all of the things that this brings up for pain. So for debt, this kind of goes in with the I forgive you, but I'm sorry that I won't be able to take my kids on the trip to Disney because of our medical bills. I am sorry that I didn't see that this was going to be a problem. I'm sorry that I didn't have the education or the understanding to know that this credit card was going to have this amount of fees on it. Taking the responsibility. And if this is someone else, I'm sorry that so-and-so felt the need to take out this loan without telling me. Or I'm sorry that he was in so much pain that he didn't know how to handle it and he went out and spent money that we didn't have. Releasing any judgments that you have. Putting yourself in whoever's place it is that is in this situation. Then thank you. Thank you for the lessons that this taught me. So thank you that we had this debt, so I was more tight on my finances and I didn't go finance a car that I didn't need. Thank you for this debt because it helped me realize how lucky we are for what we have. Thank you for, this is a big one, for tax debt. I love working with tax debt because I've seen people make so much more money when they release some of the guck that goes along with tax debt. So, thank you for this tax bill, this tax debt, because that means that I made this much money. And if you're in any type of healing profession or a profession that is of service, or you can look at any profession as a profession of service, thank you for this tax debt because that means that I was able to help X amount of people because I made this much money. Thank you for allowing me to live in a country that has taxes. And find your own gratitude for that. It can be tough. And then I love you. Sending love to the situation. Again, being sure that through all of this you're really feeling it and that you're spending as long on each of these as you need to release it and to feel lighter after, essentially. And then the I love you piece of sending love and light to it. This can be a silent meditation. This can be your version of prayer. This is sending love to your past self. If there was a past self that had to do with this situation or this fear, this can have to do with sending love to someone else. So if you're looking at how someone else hurt you, and if we stick with this example of debt, if someone else created this debt, if your partner or your child created this debt that you are stuck with, sending love and light to them, even if it was intentional, even if you're angry about it, finding a way after that forgiveness and the I'm sorry and the thank you, for the I love you, sending love and light to that situation and that person, finding a way where you can do that and really wish the best on them. This can also be a visualization where you are sending a bright white light to them, where you are picturing universe or God's love shining down on them and genuinely, authentically hoping for the best for them and wishing them the best, as well as the best for the situation of paying off the debt and for yourself. And this is also the time where if you're into visualizations, through that thank you, I love you piece, you can then go into a visualization of seeing the love and light in that situation and seeing it improve, visualizing it improve and what that would feel like. So I hope that example was applicable to people. When I got that comment, I was like, oh, I feel like we can all somehow go into this. If you're watching the replay or if you're watching it live also, I would recommend going through this, really writing a few things out and going through as slowly as needed of I forgive you, I love you, thank you. Well, I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. They can be in any order though. And when you go through that, let me know how that works. If this is your first time with it, it might take a little while to get used to it. It might also be very emotional as you're going through all of these. So as you go through this, let me know what comes up for you. And really, I challenge you, I invite you to work through this really thoroughly and go through these 4 statements and these 4 feelings as many times as needed for each individual fear, limiting belief, or something that you need to release and let go of. Let me know how that works. Let me know if you have any questions or if you notice any blocks. I've been doing this for a few years now. So for me, it kind of goes through to where I can almost like call up the feelings of each one, but I want to know where you might be getting stuck. Because if there's somewhere that you're getting stuck, someone else is likely getting stuck there as well. So let me know what questions you have about that so that I can answer that and try to give you some more guidance, because this can be truly a transformational tool, whether you do this as part of your daily practice or whether you do this as a big transformational thing all along one specific topic. So hope it was helpful. Everyone enjoy the day. If you're watching this live, full moon is tomorrow, so enjoy all of that releasing energy. This is going to be huge. So if you're watching this like live today or even tomorrow, full moon is a great time to do this, to release it all. Have a great day.